Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about, the business as a whole, right? But I'll be talking about a few things in particular, right? So when you go for counsel with your upline, you need to be prepared, right? Because their time is valuable, okay? Their time is very, very valuable. And if they're choosing to spend an hour or an hour and a half with you, you need to make the most of it, right? And you're going to do that by being prepared. So this is what I always tell my downlines, right? You need to come to me with a list of questions prioritized by urgency and importance, right? So if something is important, that means that it's not necessarily urgent, but you need to know how to do it, or you need to know the answer to the question in order to continue growing your business, right? But if something's urgent, that means there's basically a time element to it, right? And so you have to have this all done by before you come to your upline, basically, right? So the other thing I tell them to do is make four different lists, right? So those are people that are showing the plan, people that are contacting, people that are like reading the books and the CDs, and then people that are doing everything, right? And I get them to do this before they come to me. I sometimes get them to color code it as well. And basically, as soon as you look at that, you can see where the commitment is in that group, right? And you can see what's being promoted and what's not being promoted effectively, right? So if you've got people that are doing one or two of the things, but no one's doing everything, you need to promote doing everything, right? If you've got people that aren't doing certain things, you need to promote that. It makes it very easy to see what's lacking in the group, right? And then you can understand why the results are probably also lacking, right? But if there's no obvious problem, you go through your downline's calendar with them, right? So that's your immediate downline. So you're trying to see what's going on because that method I just described isn't showing you what's wrong, right? So you go through their calendar and you basically map out what they've done in the past month, right? The past 30 days, okay? I was working with one downline, right? And we could not figure out for the life of us what was wrong with his business, right? Because he had heaps of people. I think it was well over 100 people he was working with, right? And then we went through his calendar and we realized that in 30 days, he'd worked with about 25 different legs, right? So you can understand why if you're working with 25 different legs over a 30-day period, you're never going to get anywhere with any of them, right? Because you can only really grow, I say 3, right? So build it in 3s. So you can only really build it in 3s without, so if you build it in 4s, you'll become overstretched, right? And you won't have enough time. What he did, which was 25 and 30 days, he was just way too overstretched. He wasn't able to give these people enough of his time to effectively counsel them and effectively teach them how to build the business, right? Because if you're seeing your upline once every 25 days or whatever, then you're not really going to be motivated to do much. You're not even going to know what to do, let alone the motivation factor, right? So I always tell people to build it in 3s, right? Because this allows you to build from a position of strength where your downlines know that your time is valuable, right? Because they know, oh, he could be spending this time with someone else, right? But he's spending it with me. So I'm going to treat him with respect and treat him like his time is valuable because it is, right? So it allows you to build from a position of strength, right? But it doesn't overstretch you at the same time. The other thing it does is people are going to duplicate you, right? So they're also going to build it in 3s. And 3 is a very reliable number I've found. Most people can build it in 3s without being overstretched, right? There are occasions where someone has an immense amount of energy and enthusiasm. I'll tell them to build it in 4s, right? But it's up to your upline, right? But generally I'll tell people to build it in 3s. And when people duplicate you, they're also going to build it in 3s, right? So just a quick scenario, if you build 3 wide and then they also build 3 wide, that's instantly 12 people, 13 including you in your organization. And that's just 3 deep, right? So, and it's just going to exponentially grow from there. So if they're duplicating that, then it's a very reliable number basically, right? And when you build in depth, right? Because you don't want to just build width, you need to build depth as well, right? So when you build in depth, it makes the people it makes the people above them far more active, basically, right? Because they're going to see this massive organization growing below them, and they're not really going to be getting the benefits of them because they personally aren't doing much, right? So when you build below people, it basically involves the person. They're just like, oh, okay, so I need to actually do stuff now because this is very real and this is going to work because I have 150 people below me, right? I just need to do the bare minimum in order to get that paycheck, right? So when you build depth, it makes people active, right? And it locks people into the business for long enough that they'll start to actually grow and develop, right? And then once they start to grow and develop, they realize how easy it really is, right? So as always, your biggest priority is going to be building your widest, deepest, biggest leg, right? That's always your number one priority, okay? But after a while of building depth, your action in that leg kind of changes, right? So you'll be showing the plan at first, just building, adding people, adding people, adding people, adding width, adding people, adding people, adding people, adding width, right? So after a while of doing that and showing the plan, your role changes. And when your role changes is actually up to your upline, okay? So you need to counsel with them, and again, go prepared, right? So you need to counsel with them as to when your role is going to change, okay? Because your role will change and you'll go from showing the plan to doing like leadership meetings, right? And attitude meetings and stuff that's, it's basically maintenance work so that they keep building it, right? But it's far more important once you get to that stage. It's far more important that you're doing that stuff than just showing the plan, right? Because other people can show the plan. That's nothing special. But your position of being upline of like 1,000 people or whatever, it lends you so much credibility that your time is better used mentoring the leaders, right? Because they listen to what you say, they do what you say, right? And everything you're saying is just come from your upline. You're just duplicating them and they're duplicating you, right? So it's important that you do change your role eventually because at some point you're just going to be doing busy work. You're going to be doing work that the newest recruit could just do themselves, right? And that is, I've said it before, that is very much up to your upline and you need to counsel with them. So when you think you've like basically got enough depth to change your role, you need to talk to your upline and listen to what they say, right? The other great thing about building depth is that it gives you a chance to build relationships with basically different sections of the organization, right? So if someone quits, right, you don't have to build a desperation relationship with the person below them, right? So that they stay on, right? Because their upline just quit, so they'll be a bit like distraught. They'll be like, oh, maybe I should quit as well. This doesn't work. My upline didn't stay with it, right? So you're not going to have to build that desperation relationship to keep that leg attached because you already have that relationship, right? So you're just going to rekindle that relationship, reach out to them and be like, hey, I know that they quit, but I'm here for you, man. We can do this. I'm 100% on board with you. Let's do this, right? And you can show that you're a part of their team as well, right? And they'll naturally follow you once that relationship is already there, okay? And it also lends to your posture because you're not now having to build a relationship out of desperation, and they would see that desperation, right? And it would affect their perspective of you, basically, right? And that would affect how active and how willing to listen to you they are, right? And so the last thing I'll talk about is we're looking to teach teachers how to teach, okay? We're not trying to teach people how to fish, right? Because fishing is you bait a hook and you wait to get a fish, right? You wait to like hunt the fish down and get it. We're trying to teach people how to teach, okay? So we're looking for teachers to teach, okay? So we're basically just changing our shopping habits and teaching people how to like teach the concept. I know I've said teach a lot, but it's a valuable word, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're teaching people the value of the concept and how you get paid in the business, right? And so that's everything for tonight, guys. Have a good night.